Alright guys, I just want to give you a little update here, what's going on. I've been playing around with different kind of skybox creation methods. I think this one's going to work the best, where you use a bunch of alpha images to lay it into a scene in Blender. Then you can render out an equirectangular um, map that you can convert into a cube map, or you can just render out cube map if you do some fancy spinning of cameras and whatnot. That's going to be pretty cool. I got to work out some kinks and flaws in it, and it's because I am going to end up using cycles when I'm recording my videos. I end up using CPU for that, and cycles uses CPU. Otherwise, it takes forever to build a kernel with AMD hardware. So it might be a little bit difficult to record that one, but that's going to be coming up for sure. And I'll figure out a way to go around all that. But you can see you can get some pretty interesting results by doing it like so. And so we'll be able to make some rather interesting skyboxes, a little bit neater and nicer than this. I have been practicing with rigging up characters and exporting them to the game. And I will be making a tutorial on that as I, wherever I went, as I finish up this character here, or another character similar to this. I'm just kind of roughing it in right now. All the topology is a mess, but you get the idea on that. So I can certainly do some modeling tutorials. Characters are probably one of my weakest points. As you can see, the topology just is not that pretty, but I can make it happen. So GR doesn't need any real fancy loops or anything going on, since the face doesn't animate, but you can certainly model something out, rough like this, and use it in the game if you wanted. So I can certainly touch on that a little bit later. So here's just another example. Yeah, so, let me know what you're looking forward to most. I know I had a request for vehicle rigging, and I'm trying to think of the other one. The command maps. Command maps will come as I start to finish up a level. I want to finish up doing a level before I do the command map section. I think that would just be a little bit nicer. Let's talk about some other things real quick. If you didn't know, I started the community modding project in another thread, and it's probably not going to get much action in that thread, but so basically, whenever I'm doing modding for GR, I have this modding folder set up where I have all kinds of stuff that I reference and use quite a bit. So what's going to end up happening is, as I work on my own mods, I decided to go ahead and start this community modding project, which is basically the same thing. And I'll be uploading this somewhere so that you can have a quick, easy reference to all kinds of different tools and whatnot to mod GR. I don't know if I'll throw Blender in there and everything else, but I am going to throw in this program I got off GitHub, which is called Instant Meshes. Totally cool if you load this thing up. Basically, you open up like an OBJ file, and it can be a pretty complex piece of geometry, and it will instantly remesh it. And you don't have to do a whole lot with that. It's free, so I imagine I could just send it wherever I want. But lighting tools, RSB editors, all that fun stuff, assets folder. I don't have anything in here right now. I have not updated it for the most part. I got a couple textures, just a couple patterns and colors, and a little README file. And so every section of this will have a little README file saying who's contributed what to what, which files and who created them. But ultimately, we'll have like characters ready to be put into GR as well. So like the RSB files will be generated, and the POB files, or whatever the case may be, map files, those will all be placed throughout this project, sounds and everything, just so that people can utilize them and use them. The idea is, just as I create my own things, I'm going to start contributing to this community modding project folder. So there'll be Blender files in there, OBJ files, RSB files, things like that. It'll be all kinds of fun stuff, and a lot of documents and stuff. So like a rigging trees guide. This is one I wrote. But there'll be like just little cheat sheets, RSB surface properties that you can utilize, weapon helper points, the names of them. I have been digging into QOB files and POB files and all kinds of other fun stuff for the game itself. And what ends up happening is the when you export a model, it tells you what kind of helper points are placed into the scene for the most part. I think a couple of them are missing, but what'll happen is I'm gonna try my best to go through those helper points and try to recreate whatever it is that needs to be recreated. So whether it be a helicopter, a boat, or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna get to it eventually. Um, Now in my modding files here, I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to add to the community mod project. A lot of it comes from like textures.com and stuff. So like these textures, I'm creating my own little archive of just things that I want to create. This is going to be mostly based on Afghanistan. And so we're going to have all kinds of fun stuff in here as well. And hopefully that'll make it over to the other folder. Um, I'm just not sure how I'm going to go about doing all of it exactly yet. But nonetheless, we'll have all kinds of different assets, levels, sounds, weapons. So, every weapon that gets created, you'll be able to just open up Blender or the OBJ file, and it'll be there. And you'll be able to, work on anything that I've created. You'll be able to modify it and play with it and re-export it if you need to. I'll have the Max files in there as well, the 3ds Max 5 files. And so I may not include like all the reference materials, but eventually it will have at least the model in there with the model texture. All right. I don't want to make it too file heavy. I want to try to keep it somewhat lean, and that'll help out quite a bit. So overall, yeah, that's just kind of the process right now. I'm thinking about characters mostly at the moment. I want to this was just me kind of goofing around for now. You can see, this is up to GR quality level right now. I just need to add some hands and a face, but, um, I'm thinking about trying some different topology kind of tricks. Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe more polygons or just carefully placing polygons in certain areas. So whenever I do a tutorial on characters, I want them to come out not only just looking good and looking right. I want you to be able to easily add attachments all over the a base mesh, basically. So like you'll be able to quickly swap out different knee pads or swap out different types of pouches and stuff on the kit, the body armor there, and even swap out faces and whatnot. It's not real hard to do. Some games they use something like they retarget the vertices on top of a mesh, so they might sculpt a mesh, a high detailed version, and then they'll just use the base mesh to retopologize it. And I'm thinking that might work here, but I don't know if that's going to be the most efficient way for GR. And so I really need to kind of play around with it and just figure out what might work best for GR in itself. And once I figure all this out, I'll get some more tutorials uploaded. Just taking it little bit by little bit, like I said before, just a one-man show here. I'm just trying to keep it going, keep tossing out some information here as I go along, and see how it all works out. All right. That's it for this video. Just an update today, but my mind's everywhere when it comes to what I'm going to be doing and creating. Certainly have a few vehicles I want to create, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Characters and vehicles and weapons, if you watch my weapons modeling and texturing tutorial, I put some time into it usually. This character, I spent about a day doing it, and it's just not, it's not a quick, easy process always, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun once you get something started up and you get it at least to a point where, you're like really starting to see it come together. So, bear in there. Modding is not a fast process always, but it's certainly worth it. It's certainly fun to do. And considering how old this game is, any new content being put into it is going to be great because it's just there's not too many people modding it anymore. So it's nice to see when people come along and really put in that effort. All right. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. I'll try to get some more stuff out to you pretty soon here. All right. Thanks.